without a dope beat. Step two, step two, step two, step two, step two, step two. It's been a long time. We shouldn't have left you without a dope beat. Step two, step two, step two, step two, step two. Baby girl.
Let it ride. Till it's all done. You are now tuned into Audacity. Why would I stop until it's done? All done. All done.
Don't think I'm sleeping looking at you. All of them wishing they could have you. And as a matter of fact, a bunch of them itching for you to scratch them. I'm trying to hide it with me. I'm trying to come with the rain. And I'm gonna break it down, 'cause I want them to know you're my lady. Yeah, you're my lady. You're my lady. My diva, lady. You're my thing, baby. My daughter, baby. Swear you're the talk of the town, and everybody wants to know what's going down. Babe, I know you seen this before. Maybe at the liquor store. Maybe at the health food stand. They don't know that I'm your man. You're mine, you're mine. Baby, you're my lady. Oh, my divine, my divine. Oh, I pick you up every day from your job. You're my lady. Every guy in the parking lot wants you money. You're my girl, and my heart and soul. And everybody wants to treat me so cool. But I know I love you and you love me. There's no one love you.
I've been questioning myself for a while. Trying to sit with the weight I feel. My head's working all the time. Yeah. Losing sight of myself, believe. And I'm still trying to find some meaning. Maybe distractions what I need. So do you mind if I call you, say it? Could you come over for the evening? I need a sweet distraction from my feelings. Oh, show me love, watching you breathing. Gives me some sweet distraction from my feelings.
Wix. One platform, any website. Unlimited creation. Describe your needs and goals. And AI will transform your tailored brief into a unique website that's ready to perform in minutes. Customize it. Shape your visitor's experience with
I get exotic with the melodic tune. I get hypnotic with the moon, but you got to put me down soon. I flip a sideshow if you come my way. Up, down, and around, even sideways. I'm about as ready as the light can get. We can go all out. I ain't afraid of the sweat, but yet I bet you got the techniques to freak a girl inside out. What's that all about? Can I have some of that? You gotta put me on. Word around town is your 9 men strong. I wanna be put on in the worst way. Since the first day, I think it was a Thursday. You be that brother that I wanna sink my teeth in. Make me wanna ask, where the hell you been? I like the way you be with all that personality. But I got flavor too, you need to get with me.
What you going through? I wanna be down. I wanna be down with you. Oh, yeah. It's true. I wanna be down. I wanna be down. Oh, yeah.
He was born 20 years ago just to pimp toes. Everyday new clothes, look at the cut coupons. On three, got the heat, so bluff it. Slanging fancy because it's more than 20 ducats. Struck it, kinda rich, now his pockets looking straight. Slam the D's on the benzo, pancake by the gate. Mom's looking straight with her half, she got great. Lounging in her new home, that's about the state. I'll be your cornmeal, won't tell. You can get it when you want it, even though you got chicks all up on it. Don't matter, cause brother, you fly. I can't lie, I've been macking daddy from the corner of my eye. Now, baby, bring it on, don't be frontin' on your baby boo. All I wanna know is what's up with you. How can I get with you? Seems like you got a hold on me. It must be voodoo, cause baby, I want you.
Down with you. Oh, yeah. I wanna be down with you.
Yo, I be buying Yo, I be buying V's, so all my girls be eyeing C's. Coming backstage, dying to get pleased. You got me, I rock the Versace and linen. While you spotting, grinning with a bunch of foxy women. While you speedball with cars, that's invalid. I get clothes custom made from a stylist. Cruise in my Lexus land with no malice. While you walk the street until your feet get callous. Take you on the natural high like a pallet. It be all good, toss your clothes like a salad. When it's all over, put your vote in my ballot. This my diner, I'm Ellen, your Alice. Spend the night and look to C's palace. It be all good as long as you don't act childish. While you standing there with the crisp in your cup, and worst come to worst, keep this on the hush.
I know you see me on the video. I know you heard me on the radio. But you still don't pay me no attention. Listening to what your girlfriends mention. He's a slut, he's a hoe, he's a freak. Got a different girl every day of the week. It's cool, not trying to put a rush on you. I had to let you know that I got a crush on you.
Hey yo, shorty, won't you go get a bag of the lethal? I'll be undressed in the bra all see-through. While you count your jewels, thinking I'ma cheat you. The only one thing I wanna do is freak you. Keep your stone sets, I got my own baguettes. And I'll be doing things that you won't regret. Little Kim the queen bee, so you best take heed. Shall I proceed? Yes, indeed. I'ma throw shade if I can't get paid. Blow you up to your girl like the army grenade. You can slide on my ice like the escapade. And then you get your yaya with the marmalade. Who me? Not you. Oh yes, who's he? I even dig your man's style, but I love your profile. Whisper in your ear and get you all shook up, but don't blush. Just keep this on the hush.
I know you see me on the video.
What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? I am back. I am back. This is just a special show that me and my guy kind of put together. I had a lot to talk about based on some things that happened this weekend, some conversations I had been having, and I thought it was about time for me to come back on the air some stuff out. Y'all know this is Real Talk with Jayson Dixon. In case you forgot, it's still that show. We just have been gone for a while because shout out to my nostalgic family. We've been kind of building, and I've been building up other shows. Shout out to all our new shows coming out. Shout out to all the uh shout out to everybody who's coming on and everybody who's already on the station. Shout out to BT, shout out to Virgin Records, shout out to all the people that are helping make this station become such a big reality, man. We got a lot more things in store. Dallas, I need y'all to really beware because in January we're gonna release phase one of our building. So just pray for us on that one. The FM station is ready to go, so we ready and everybody is excited. But tonight, that's not what we're here to talk about. I just wanted to say to everybody. I know I've been gone for a minute, but I'm back. I got my man, y'all. We were talking and having a conversation today, and I just felt like the conversation we was having needed to be one of those conversations that we put on air and let everybody else jump in, chime in, come hear what we talking about, and let's get it together. So I'm gonna say this with y'all. We're gonna go take this little commercial break, but when I come back, I'm gonna bring on my man. He's a motivator. Man, he's creating new businesses every day. Every time I look at him, he's trademarking something, but he's not doing it for the money. He's doing it just to show that, hey, this is how you got to build and to help encourage people. I met him in Vegas. We go to the same church, so he's my brother in Christ, and we just kind of bonded, man. And so, Coach One Stack, when we come back from this commercial break, I'm gonna bring you up because I got this video I want to show. After you get done introducing yourself, telling everybody where they can find you, we're gonna jump into this conversation. Real talk, though. This is Real Talk with Jayson Dixon. See you guys in a minute.
Listening to what your girlfriends mention. He's a slut, he's a hoe, he's a freak. Got a different girl every day of the week. It's cool, not trying to put a rush on you. I had to let you know that I got a crush on you.
There is a reason I chose you. My eyes can see past the old you. Don't let your secrets control you. We all got some shit in dark places. Ooh, nobody living is perfect. I found the one who was worth it. But you feel like you don't deserve a love so real and pure. 'Cause you done had mad bitches. Been around the whole world, and you carried all your fears with you. Now you found the right girl, and you know what to do with it. You don't know what to do with it. You don't. Your bed has never been vacant. You don't know love till you're naked. Looking for gratification, breaking every heart just like yours. Everyone living is broken. Hurt people hurt when they're hurting, yeah. And you can't afford a misfortune, so you're still unsure. 'Cause you done had mad bitches. Been around the whole world, and you carried all your fears with you. Now you found the right girl, and you know what to do with it. You don't know what to do with it. You don't.
As an owner of Walton Goggins goggle glasses, I know how to make slick-looking goggle/glasses.
Threw a lot of my head in the ocean to give an offering. Signed the deal.
Going on, everybody? What's going on, man? I'm just coming back. We wanted to take that short break just to get ourselves together. I had to go get this video up that I can't wait to play y'all, man. But for right now, I'm gonna bring on my guest, man, somebody that I really admire. We have so much in common, and his passion to help people is something more like what we try to do over here at Nostalgic. Give people a place to voice their opinions, give their ideas, and move people along. But I'm gonna let my man tell you about him. Welcome to the stage, Coach One Stack. Man, it's a privilege of having you on. I am so grateful.
How you guys doing? Um, uh, hey, my name's Eric Washington, government name. Man, people call me Coach One Stack. One Stack standing for, in my opinion, one. There's only one standing ahead of Christ. That's our Father God. Okay, so that's just my name. That's where you can reach me on YouTube. Just a motivational guy, man. I don't really have a niche. It's all about the Lord, fitness, motivating others to become the best version of themselves, and keeping it 1,000% real at all times. Not
Uh,
going with the crowd, just keeping it 1,000 at all times. And
hey,
that's
that's hey, hey, I'm gonna clap on that because we say that all the time when we have our little meetings. um, that's one of the things that we talk about, man. And I love every from day one that we met, we sat down, had a conversation. It's been like A1, not really a business or partnership, just a friendship, right? Just coming up and having conversations that men should have to help other men day to day, right? That's just where
absolutely.
we are with each other.
Absolutely, it's been uh, uh, just a bond from day one. Real gonna recognize real, and that's just how it is. We just have real conversations about real things. We don't tend to follow the crowd, and some people might not choose to, like that or whatever. But we're not here to win a popularity contest. It's just we all have our perception of everything, and at the end of the day, nobody's wrong.
Right. And you're absolutely right on that. And I say that all the time. Like nobody's in a wrong. Everybody's opinion is valuable. I have my thoughts. You have yours. Other things happen. But on this the way we got in this show today was because, and I'll just give a little backstory to you guys. We were talking about something that happened, let's just say this weekend at a
Yes.
place we both were at, and they were talking about tithing, guys. They were talking about they pulled up a certain scripture. I don't remember the scripture by far, but I remember what it said, and it talked about how the Romans came in and they asked for taxes, and they asked Peter, does your master does he not have to pay temple tax? And so as Peter came running back to Jesus, Jesus says, yes, we'll pay. Basically, he'll say in so many words, we'll pay them their tax. But instead of giving Peter the money, he showed Peter how to use his skills to go get the money and said, from the first fish that you pull, you'll get what you need to pay not just my tax, but your taxes as well, and then everything else is on him, right? So where that all came about was, and I'm gonna play this little clip so that we can just get this on board right now, because it all came from this what happened, and probably everybody saw it over the weekend. You probably saw what Juanita Bynum did, and where I love my man Shakur King. He kind of made a joke about it, but I want to know whose side you on. I want to know which way do your thought looks at this, because where we were at, they gave their side, and I just felt like that side was a very minute side to look at, because it was kind of like these pastors do this. Before we bring this on, just to tell you my point of view, I feel like these pastors kind of do this to kind of force people to feel guilty about not giving.
I
It's
agree. I definitely agree with that. Anybody who have walked into a church, they understand that that collection plate is going to get passed, and that you're going to give what you can, and everybody's not able, but when you get to the point of you already have poor people giving what they can, and then some people, it's psychology. When you tend to
yeah,
tell people stuff, other people tend they want to be people pleasers, and now they find themselves homeless. I would never, try to uh, trying to coax somebody into paying a tithe and then to be homeless. You understand what I'm saying?
absolutely.
Even if that's what they chose to do, I would never tell anybody to do that.
And I'm not against any pastor that does it, because like I talked to you when we were talking earlier about this, who am I to tell a pastor or tell anyone what God said to them? I would never do that, because I know God talks to us specifically individually. But to take that message, the way the message comes off, before I play this video, the way the message comes off is as if these people don't do this, then we're dishonoring God's word, or we're not following, and that's how that comes off to most people. That I have to do it, or else God, if I got $1,000 in the bank and Okay, let's just play the video to make more sense what we saying, guys. So we're gonna get into this video and let y'all see it. Stack. We can still gonna be on the screen while the video's playing. So
Okay.
that way, if you want to conversate as we're going through it, like we still have the ability to do that.
Okay.
Oh, Juanita. Don't
So
have nothing against you. Don't know you. Really don't mess with you like that. We got the footage of you saying uh, that the Lord told you that
Yeah, the Lord
21 people in that
told you.
congregation supposed to give you $1,000 a piece. Don't believe me? It is.
I like
21
that.
people in this building that God said will give $1,000.
And she going hard too.
He said 21
Yeah.
people in this building, come now wherever you are. Give me an envelope. Give me some envelopes. He said 21 people, come now wherever you are. $1,000 ain't nothing in comparison to
Now
what
my
God's
thing
going to
is,
do.
if they
I just
said
called for
21
one people,
people,
y'all.
if the Lord told her 21 people,
It ain't
I
nothing.
believe that He would
There's
have told them their
promotions that
names
you
as
want.
well.
You're not going to get it until you make
Right.
that
You have
sacrifice
a
to God.
specific
Line up right
message
here.
for
I know what I'm
21
talking about.
people.
Older and
You
younger.
know,
I know you in here
you
because the
should have them
prophecy don't lie.
21 people
The Spirit of
names.
the Lord don't lie.
I
The
have
Spirit of
been
the Lord don't
thinking
lie.
about
The
certain
Spirit of the
things.
Lord don't
You
lie.
know, because if
He's
God
not a
sends you a
lying
message
spirit.
for somebody
He said
specifically,
21 people in here.
you would
If
know
God wasn't talking,
who those
nobody would have
people
moved. He
are.
said 21 people in this building. That's what he
And
means. He
that's
said 21
the
people in
thing
this
where
building.
she
How do I
says
know
to
God is
me
talking to me?
when
Because you
she
got it. That's
says,
how I know God is talking to
if
you.
God
Because it's in
wasn't
your
talking to
account
me,
right now.
people would not
Because it's on
move.
your credit
They
card
would
right
not
now.
come to the
That's
altar.
how
And
I
I'm like,
know
that's not
God is
true.
talking to you.
What if 21 people inside your church didn't
Yeah,
have it?
that's it. That's her telling everybody,
So
But of,
look,
but of course they will
God
move
said y'all
because
got to give me
we're all like
$1,000.
sheep,
Plant,
you
sow a
know.
seed of 1,000.
It's no different than going to altar call. You got some people who go to altar call and they don't want to be the first one, so they wait, and then some people follow. Um, but if you know you got 21 people, that's almost like a guilty thing, and then you have some people who have an ulterior motive because they want to be part of the 21. You know what I
right,
mean? And
I believe it.
and to really get deeper, because I'm not well versed in the word, so I'm not here to tell anybody what a message that God gave them. But biblically, it wasn't 10% could be 10% of your time. It could be 10% of your goods. It wasn't 10% of money because we didn't have any currency.
And to be honest with you, it technically was, and you see it when Joseph became when they had the famine, and when Joseph said, "Give us 10% of all your grain to store up." It was the same thing when it came down to it, because back in those days, it wasn't about money; it was about what you can barter. If I got 12 goats and you got grain, let's see what we can mix together. But whenever you had a plethora, it was told that, hey, bring some to the church house. Why was that a big deal, bro? Was because that when they worked in the church back then, they didn't live anywhere else. They didn't do anything else. All they were there was to serve the gods. They did everything that they were supposed to do. They preached all day. So that 10% that you gave the church was to keep them running and to keep them up and running. And that's what that technically was for, to make sure they ate, to make sure they were fed, to make sure that if somebody came there without, that the church had it to give. The problem that I have with the tithing now is give your money to your church. My baby said it the best yesterday when we were talking about it. She said it and it made perfect sense to me. She said, your grandma could have been at a church for 31 years. She passed away and they charge you to bury her, to have her funeral. And if you know your grandma, she probably tithed it every Sunday since she been there, because I know mine did.
I mean, I would go a little deeper than that. My father growing up in the South, his grandmother who raised him could not read or write. They didn't even have a TV. She paid tithe for years to a man that she never even saw. Reverend Ike was his name. She
Yeah,
never even knew what this man looked like because they didn't have a TV.
right,
So at what point did she get her blessings? And definitely, it's all about taking care of the church, but it's certain ways to put pressure on people who really don't have it, because
right,
everybody's looking for something to believe in, but self-preservation is first. Because at the end of the day, if everybody in this church went, in anybody's church went homeless, the church is not going to give them a place to stay for the next 6 months. It's not going to happen. This is just a fact.
One second. Sorry about that. So a client hit me up
That's all
about
good.
something. Um, one of the things that one of the things that I was talking that's one of the things we talked about earlier as well. And no, I talked about it with other people. Some of these churches, so when you go to these schools and you hear these teachers, remember I was saying earlier that hey, when you wanted to be a barber back in the days, you didn't go to barber school. What you did was you walked down to the local barber shop, you asked the guy for a job. You told him that you want to learn to be a barber. The first thing he did was give you a broom.
So you
That's the
sweep
first
up.
thing he did. And
Yeah.
said, first thing you need to learn how to take care of the shop. Before you ever touch the clippers, you need to learn how to sweep up the hair. You need to watch what I do every day because that's part of the internship, right? Now you got people rushing through barber school just because they figured out how to sell haircuts at $50, $60, $90, $80. You see them buy all this stuff. Now it's like now we're like women. We go to the barber shop and it takes us just as long as your girl take to get her hair done if you go through their whole treatment, right? So that's the way that I look at it, that most pastors, they went through this theological college and they teach them because you know why I say this is because of this. Go to any church. We can go to a church in Vegas, Eric, and then jump on a flight and go to a church in North Carolina, and we gonna hear the same things, not the same words exactly, but they'll say the same process of keying in and turning on that emotional spirit, right? They'll be like, well, and then God said, and then
Look,
that's hey, cue the music because now we got to get these people emotional because I'm about to ask for money.
oh, definitely. It definitely happens like that. And I actually saw, videos myself in Atlanta. I would say a stage was probably about maybe 100 feet long, and it had 3 steps up, and it was covered with money. And
Right.
pastors were literally running on the money and sliding on the money, saying that they were anointing all this money. And as people were throwing money on top of this stage, and it's just psychology is something else, and especially we as black people. Well, I'm not even gonna say black people. It's all of us. All races are getting.
Right.
I don't want to say that people are getting over with the ties, but a person shouldn't be pressured, or looked at any type of way, whether they could give or they can't give. And at the end of the day, people keep notes of who gives if you pay your tithes, and
and
you
and
know.
I'm glad you said that because I was at a church, so in Dallas, right? In Dallas, a church moved from Boston. They built this great church in Boston. They said we're going to move to Dallas because he said God told him this is where he's supposed to build the next church. I met them by accident, right? I was helping open up a gas station. So I was at the gas station and we're setting up the signs. We're doing the grand opening. They came to their church was right across the street from the gas station. They came over. The pastor talked to me. He's originally from Ghana, but he came by way of New York. I mean, by way of Boston. So he brings all these people down here with him. They all come to not down here, but to Texas. They bring it all down, and I won't say the name of the church. But when they get in a specific community, one of the things that I was telling them, I said, "Listen, church is millions of churches around this area. What I need y'all to do is do something different than what these churches are doing." They
Right.
want people to come, but let's say if I'm tithing, and then all of a sudden my light bill is due and I'm falling behind. If I come to the church, most of the churches that I know, they're going to say, well, hold up, let me talk with the accountant and see how much you tithe. And to me, that's not right. I don't care if they only tied it where the place where we were at, and he was like $40, and you've been here for 4 years. I don't care if I tied it. This is that. You're a church. You're a nonprofit. You're supposed to be there to help.
Yeah, at the end of the day, religion is supposed to be free, and I personally have known it. I had an ex father in law. This is real talk here in Las Vegas. He had a settlement. He gave 10% of his settlement, which was about $30,000, and he blew that money. He blew that money in about 6, 8 months. It was gone. And I
Right.
mean, he couldn't get no help. He literally had to come live with me for a while, and he could not get any help. And it's like, I look at, I pay my tithes, I pay what I can. I have no problem with it. I have no. It's not my business what they do with the money, because to me that's God's money. That's my opinion on that. But as you said, it's tithing is like an insurance policy.
Exactly.
At one point you gonna. What if you need to cash it out? You start paying your insurance today, your life insurance. Well, you still need to get buried. And at some point, do you give back? You know,
And that's the biggest thing. That's how we look at it. So we were talking about the different things that we walk through as we go through life. The Bible says you are to prosper. The Bible says you are to give unto Caesar what is owed to Caesar, but give unto God what is owed to God. 10% of your earnings every month should go to God. And I agree with that 100% but it doesn't always have to be the church. Let's get into that. Like you said, it doesn't always have to be the church. I walk out to the streets every day and I'm giving away money to homeless people. I feed people. If you ever been somewhere with me, you eating for free. Hey, I got you. Don't worry about it. I don't look at other people's pockets. You did that. I We did that just 2 days, a couple days ago. Like I got you. Don't worry about it. Let's do this. I am that person. Tithing does not mean that all I have to do is give money. If I come and give my time, I'm tithing. If I service, so I was talking to someone the other day, bro, and I said they thank me for helping with renewing their business, like what you saw when you were over my house. They helped me. They were like, "Thank you. You made me look so professional." Now I said, "You don't have to thank me. My job on this planet is to service people."
right? And then and that's the thing. It's like, to me, we're tithing every second that we wake up. If we're walking in God's word, and so we have people trained that on a specific day of the week that we're supposed to give up, pay this amount of money. And like I said, they do keep track of it. But and then to go a little further, people who pay more money have better standing in the churches.
Exactly.
You
Yeah,
know,
we can.
you know
We could talk about that all day. If the more they give, the more certain. Let's talk about the man church. When
reserve
you talk about
seats.
church, when you talk about church, it's not all that. Um, when you talk about the church and the what is it called? I can't remember the word, man. I was hoping to bring it up. That's why I was talking to Google. Um, the hierarchy in the church, the hierarchy in the not the leadership of the church, the congregation. I went to so my dad when he played football and all of our uncles and everybody, we when TD Jakes were first building up their church, we went to that church. And if you played for the Cowboys, you got that whole front row. You know why? Because he expected us to give the most money. And we would give, my dad told me, we would give that man almost 4,000 a month
It's a lot of money.
in tithes. But when my stepmom and my dad went through a divorce, we couldn't go to that church for nothing. And that's what made them leave that church because they were like, well, hold on. We damn near helped you build this. And now that we're going through this divorce and we need a little just for you to come by to counsel us, you want to charge us on that as well?
Yeah, and and like I said, it should be one of these free things, because like I say, back in the days, like I said, having Southern roots, especially, this is all it goes back to the days of Jesus. This is all a lot of pastors did was preach. And
Yep.
so, in the South, their thing is you would have a church, or a town where my dad is from, they would only have church once a week because there was so many churches. Well, they would have church here one day, one Sunday. Then the next Sunday is at somebody else's church, so they could split the tithes up. And
Yep.
so the church, they would make sure the pastor, they would pay for his rent to have a home, and they would pay for him to have a car and take care of him. But
Absolutely.
I totally get that. But some of these things have gotten outrageous, where you have pastors saying that God told them they need a private jet. God didn't tell you that. I mean, I don't call it BS. God didn't tell you that you need a Lear jet.
Exactly.
God didn't tell you that. And even just not even just talking about tithing, but even when somebody's saying, and this is what I love about our church, because our pastor brought this up. He said, even when people are saying, "Well, I have a message for someone." Well, if God gave you a message, well, He should. Well, then it's a name attached to that message.
Exactly.
It should be. It's a name attached to that message. If He gave you a message, I mean, I have gotten messages, and I've called people, and I said, "Hey, God gave me a message for you," and it was
Exactly.
for them, and it panned out. But um, I mean, we all could talk and say somebody in this church is going through a breakup.
Hey, it's the reason why I push people away from tarot. And I'd be like, tarot is crazy. You guys, tarot, and I'm not saying hypnotism isn't true. I'm not knocking nobody's stuff, but I got to talk real sense and common sense and real talk, right? When people talk to me about tarot, I say you're paying somebody to tell you something that if you just got down on your knees and pray, God will show you that exact same thing. He's not going to show you through somebody else. Now, that other person may bring you, like you said, a message. Hey, Jason, just like when you called me and was like, hey, God told me to call you to check on you. You didn't know what I was going through or the day I was having, but because you called, that was him talking because I was going through something. So this conversation we had earlier kind of helped me get up and say, okay, man, let's talk about this.
Yeah, I mean, and I mean to get even deeper, and this kind of off the tide subject. If someone's if we're having a conversation, that means that we have understanding. If we're having
Yes.
a conversation with God, well, even when speaking in tongues, well, shouldn't somebody be able to translate that if it's a
Hey,
language?
and that's crazy. Let me tell you why.
You understand what I'm saying? Somebody should be
Yep.
able to translate that, right? Because
the-
you should be
yep.
able to tell me exactly what you're saying.
Yep. Talking in tongues, when they talk about that, they only talked in tongues once in the Bible. And that was when they all were in the upper room, when everybody came. And I was like, and when they talked to me about that, I'm like, listen, God, when you talk in tongues, even when they did it back then, everybody from the different nations had an interpreter. So that's the way they could understand what was going on. When you start talking in tongues in the church and we don't understand what you're saying, I walk away from that. I
Oh,
you close that out because I don't know if you praying over me. I don't know if you cursing me. I don't know what you're doing, but you will get these pastors that come at me and they be like talking in tongues is a language like God never talked in tongues. Jesus never talked in tongues. They only talk about talking in tongues when Jesus died and they were in the upper room.
and
And
doesn't
that
it
was
all
because
sound?
they were from different nations.
But it all
Go
sounds
ahead.
the
I'm sorry.
same, don't it? The
Yes.
people are talking in tongues. I mean, if you turn on the
But
TV,
but if you study, talking in tongues back then meant they came from different areas. So it's like our foreign language now. If you drop me off in China and I don't have an interpreter, how am I know what the hell I'm doing?
you need to interpret because somebody's really talking in a different tongue to you. So it's just, it's a lot of mainstream stuff, but it's so many people that to me that are followers instead of just questioning things for themselves.
Yes.
I personally, I go to get my word to confirm a lot of things that I'm going through, not to learn how to live, because we all can read the Bible and have our interpretation of it, but everybody's not a shepherd. It's a lot of sheep that just listen and they just follow blindly, and
And
it's
some shepherds that are leading aren't shepherds. They're really sheep that just got wolf clothing on. I say that all day, every day. And we jump
absolutely,
behind them because they sound good. We jump behind them.
absolutely.
And
I,
that's why I said in the beginning where some of these people have learned how to peek into our emotional part of us. And once they learn that trigger, it's easy for them to be like I said at church, when you hear that music, when you hear them start to, you know, when the pastor's about to wind down, right? Because the piano person know when to go over there and start hitting those keys. Why? Because I need to trigger this emotion. Because now I need to be like, and then God said, and you don't understand, and da 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 da, and then you start getting it hyped, right? And
yeah.
as you started getting it hyped, so that's why I say now most people run from church
Oh,
because
definitely.
of the
You program.
business. Yeah.
Now
it's a, go ahead.
you definitely programmed. You definitely programmed it. Like say people are church hurt and
Yep.
they don't want to come because of these things. They feel different. They feel awkward.
Yep. And the biggest thing with me is I was talking to somebody about this from the music industry, and I said, I was telling you earlier, like, well, when we had our conversation, not today, but the other, I think it was like a week ago, we had a conversation, and I was telling you, like, if Jesus sat on the right hand of God, who do you think sat on the left? That's why music is such a big part of our lives down here on earth. Music is universal. It's the only thing that is universal. I don't care what planet you go to. I mean, I don't care what continent you go to. I don't care what system you go to. I don't care who you meet, what language they speak, play music. And I promise you, y'all all gonna start to connect.
Oh, definitely, definitely, and I mean, and do I think everybody's all pastors are just out to milk their congregation for money? No, I don't. I think that's a part of asking, but I would put this on like more the people to like check themselves because our Bible is a set of guidelines, and where I get caught up with so many people is that you're trying to be perfect and you're not going to be perfect. You're
Absolutely.
you're not going to be able to live that Bible down to the last T because it was translated to begin with, and we don't give ourselves enough grace, even though God gives us grace. You know,
Absolutely.
but I've literally, I do. I especially at a time like this, I get tired of watching pastors really taking advantage of people because they put their hope into people. And I got a story I'll tell you about that in a minute about
Yeah,
hope.
yeah,
And
we'll come back from commercial and we'll get into that. I was gonna ask you about that
yeah,
story.
yeah, I'll tell you about the story about these people putting their hope in stuff, and sometimes, man, they need to ask more questions. But I'll tell you a story when we come back from break
All
about.
right, y'all. We're gonna jump out of here and get into this little break because I know we've been putting it on kind of heavy for you guys. I don't want y'all to feel like we bashing church or we bashing God because we both are believers. But what we want y'all to do is understand, like my man said, Coach One Sack said, the Bible is a guideline to how you should live. Hey, and if you don't understand it, I'm gonna tell you right now, you trying to build a business. Read it, go find a book that says building business the Bible way, and it's going to show you how the Bible tells you how to be prosperous and how to build a business, how to do this and follow God's rules and watch how your business flourish within the first year. Nostalgic Radio is a true blessing of it. So I'm giving y'all that little pinpointer, but we're going to take this commercial break and we'll be right back on air.
We don't know, just trying to stay on our part. I've been here before, yeah, still end up on my heart. But some things got to give a little, I know.
face is familiar. I feel you. How can that be? I thought I was gone now, on the run now, trying to find a happier me. But flying away didn't fix a thing. Barely alive on this G5. Bottle away from me drowning. Start with a sip, then a down there. Land in Toronto, I'm tipsy. You never say that you miss me, but I know that you miss me. I wish you were with me.
You're tired. You might not have the money.
Right.
So we're back. So we back on.
No, we're not on. Oh, did I transfer us over? I did. I messed up.
A conversation that we never had. Replaying in my head. I say the right thing and you smile just like you used to. Took me way back to when I knew you. This time I don't make the same mistakes. I don't ever break your heart. You don't have all you can take. And we don't fall apart. Oh, this can't be real. Already made my escape. Some things you can't run away from. I wanted the weather to change. Tried my best to outrun the rain. Only way I deal with the pain. I know you feel the same. I know you feel the same. Blue sky, blue sky. Won't you let the clouds go by? Too soon, blue, blue. Don't make you around, bringing me back down, bringing me back. I've been eating whipped cream, having vivid dreams. Oh, you're pacing through people on TV screen. You've been everywhere. Then I wish I didn't care. Oh, you've been everywhere. I wish I didn't care. Wish I didn't. I've been thinking of you. I've been keeping you all in my soul with the devil that it chose. I've been thinking this, thinking of some kids. How I'm aging, degrading when I give it like this. I've been crying at night, holding bullet tight, hoping I meet someone different, but it's true that I don't. I've been eating whipped cream, having vivid dreams of your face and through people on the TV screen. Everywhere. Then I wish I didn't care. Oh, you've been everywhere. I wish I didn't care. I've been
Hey, we are back. We are back. I'm back. I'm Real Talker Jayson Dixon. You know, this is my man, Mr. One Stack right here. Coach One Stack. Man, so we were talking offline, y'all, and you know, I'm always come back and tell what we talk about in the green room. So we're gonna kind of slide away from the money of the church, but I want to talk about the mental health of the men in the church. And I'm not just talking about the men in the church, I'm talking about men overall. But the church seems to have a falter of men that want to be more followers than they are leaders. And I mean that in the sense of something great can be in the church that the pastor may not know about, and instead of a man that is in leadership position pulling that person up in front of the pastor and saying, hey, we need him, they'll say, nah, I'm gonna go with what the pastor, or I'm gonna keep my mouth closed and walk around here. And it could be faulted. But like what you were saying in the back room, at the end of the day, I was telling you something in the sense of, when I talk to people, they kind of get upset, but I got to tell the truth because I got a lot of people. And shout out to Godson because he's watching right now, and I don't want him to feel offensive. But anyway, we talked about this on his Just a Conversation podcast on Saturday. Um, when people come at me and they're like, God is a woman, all I ask them to do is tell me how you know, because I can tell you how I know God is a man. Because if I go and I look back on all the attacks that are happening to men right now, why is the not just America, why is the whole world on this plot to tear men down? It ain't just American women, it's Asian women, it's all races that look at men as the worst things walking the planet. If you don't make $1 million or plus and they can't be a stay at home mom, you are the worst person ever.
Oh, definitely. You know, I mean, that's why the crime rate is up. Uh, I'm really uncensored. I tell people all the time, a woman is a man's biggest downfall. You know, for the sake of a woman in your ear, trying to let you know that you ain't nothing, instead of trying to build you up. You got men out here committing crime every day. I mentor young men all the time. And a lot of them ask me, how to do illegal things because their woman is watching social media and wants to take all these trips. They want to have all these nice cars and they want to have all this jewelry, but they don't want to chip in. But they want these men to finance their life. And
Right.
men are feeling less than, they're feeling less than because, you have these women trying to sit in their masculine energy, but not help and trying to put it all on the man. And so
Hey,
as a man,
my,
you work out, you got pressure every day, all day.
hey,
Being
my 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 obligation, and when I talk about exactly what you just said, man, one of the things that I go at hard at is quit talking 80-20, quit talking 100-0. If you find somebody that says all, because women sit back and they say, here's the thing, you march for women's rights, right? This is what I keep telling everybody. Y'all march for women's rights. You want to be equal. That's what you said. That's how y'all put it out there. You want to be equal, right? You want to be this equal person, but yet you want to come back and be like, but if I go to work and get this check and you go to work and get this check, I ain't spending my money. We're gonna spend your money and I get to hold on to my money. When a divorce happens, we don't go equal. I ain't seen a man yet get what he wanted out of a divorce. Not one bit, unless he can literally tear that woman down and tear her apart. But all a woman has to say is irreconcilable differences, and she's gonna walk out of there with your house. She's gonna walk out of there with your car. She's gonna walk out of there with half of your bank account, alimony, child support, and the kids, and then still be mad because you don't come get the kids enough.
let's get even deeper on that child support. When it comes down to this child support, I was a full-time single parent for most of my daughter's life. She's 28, and things I never got a dollar child support. But when the shoe's on the other foot, a woman doesn't even have to prove that a man is not taking care of his child. Here in the state of Nevada, where I'm born and raised, when a child is born out of wedlock, a father, you can sign this birth certificate. You literally have no rights to that child. So let's just say for 10 years, you're taking care of that child and you don't have any paperwork through court. This woman can go back 10 years and get 10 years back paid child support because in the state of Nevada, there are two ways that you establish paternity. By signing the birth certificate, you either have to take your DNA test or you have to sign a paper saying that I am the father, and then any money that you have given her, it has to be paid through the court. So even though you've been taking care of your kid for 10 years, you got receipts, the court considers that a gift, and they're going to hit you for back child support and
But let me tell you why though. So can I give you the? So we gonna break this down because this ain't just Nevada, bro. This is all across the country. So let me tell you why. So me being a dad at the age of 16, I did not know this, and I had to go find this out because I couldn't understand why every time I went to work, I got you taking majority of my check, and then telling me I still got to provide a place to live for myself. I got to provide an insurance for the kid. I got to provide transportation to come get the kid. All of this, but you are digging in my pocket as the government taking half my money. Well, this is why. Man, I'm so blessed that my dad taught us to understand the law and that he owned a law firm that we could call and get questions out. But what it is not that you don't establish the joint. If you sign that before they even allow the man to sign the birth certificate, the first conversation is with the woman. The minute she goes to her doctor, declares that she's pregnant.
you cutting out a little bit. You
Oh,
cutting out.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. The minute that she goes to her doctor and declares that she's pregnant, the minute she does that, they're going to ask her, "How are you paying for your care?" And if they say, "I don't have insurance," the second question is, do you know who your father of this baby is? If they say yes, are you willing to sign? Is he willing to sign the birth certificate? Yes. The minute you sign, they get everything possible from the state. So it isn't that they're just taking it from you. The reason why you have to pay it through the courts because the courts and the law say that because she signed up for Medicare and because she signed up for food stamps, that you're not paying her back. What you're doing is paying us back. So we take ours back plus a little extra to give to her every month because we're already giving her everything you're supposed to provide.
Absolutely. And if we're both parents, and because I've been through that personally,
Yeah.
and if we're both parents, well, you should have to pay half of it. In my situation, um, I was taking care of my child was living here in Nevada, going to school, and I get pulled over one day and I find out my license is suspended. And why is my license suspended? I go to the child support office and they say that I owe $4,000 back child support. I said, well, how is this possible? Well, and my daughter been living with me for 2 years. They said, well,
Right.
her mother is in another state collecting benefits, which I had to pay this money cash back to get my license, but around tax season, they gave me my money back. They took her, but I had to still go through that.
Yeah.
So the system is not, I mean,
It's
as
not built. It's not built for men. You can
it's
say
not
it.
built for you. But they're going to look at you sideways. You know how many times as a single father, women would ask me, "Well, why do you have your child?" I said, "Well, why not? I
If
can't take."
I'm the best, if I'm the best possible way for her, and if you are here's my thing. Women will be like, "Oh, I need help taking care of my kid," and I'm like, "But listen to this. If we didn't work out, and you're telling me that I got to pay like one of the things I was looking at today, the guy said $9,000 in child support. Tell me why I owe you that." And the girl was like, "Well, it's when I got to get up every night with the kid when she's sick, and I got to do this." Well, if you don't want to do that, then let me get my child
Yeah,
because that's called parenting. We both created this. We not saying that it's a this, but we both created this situation. We both came into this doing something that we shouldn't have been doing. So here's the outcome, right? But men are held more accountable. Let a woman not be there for her kid, and every woman gonna be like, "Well, you must have did something. She's going through a mental breakdown. She's going through this." But what I told somebody the other day, it would be more fathers taking care of their kids if child support wasn't in their life. Let me tell you why I say that.
absolutely.
And I'm saying this because, and I know you agree with me. I'm talking to the people in the camera. Let me tell you why I say this. Because I know how hard of a struggle it was for me with I had two boys before I got the good job, the great job. And by the time child support took from me, all I could afford to do was sleep on somebody's couch. And then they want money. So now I don't have a car. Now I'm walking to work, catching the bus, but you still want me to come get my child every weekend so you can go out and kick it, party, do what you do, and live your life. When all that your baby mama has to do to rectify that whole situation, Ian, this is the crazy part. You will talk about this man, download this man, when all you have to do is go to the courts and say, hey, I don't want this man on child support.
Absolutely, it's a way of control because
Yes.
it is I got really lucky, especially being ex law enforcement. When I first got put on child support, I only had to pay $100, and what she would do in my situation, I'm paying $100. I mean, but I didn't have to be told to take care of my child.
Right.
So I got smart, I kept some receipts. So she would take me off and put me on with this. But the second time she went to put me on, I got a different judge. Sometimes that happens, fellas out there. Sometimes you can get a different judge, and it can end up in your favor, like it did me. I told this judge, I said, Your Honor, I said, I don't need you to tell me to take care of my child. I said, look, and she's like, I'm entitled to 18%, which would have been probably about a good 800-900 a month from what I was making. And I
Yeah.
said, I don't need, I said, it's a waste of time. And she was so adamant about it. Let me tell you what the judge did. People, is hope. Men, is hope out here for you. The judge said, well, I tell you what. He looked at it. He said, well, I tell you what. I'm going to give you your child support because you're entitled to it. But he noted that it should never be raised over $100. And that's a true
Right.
story. And so whenever I would go back and get put on child support, I only had to pay $100 because I had somebody that actually saw that I was taking care of my child like I should be. I didn't have to be told to do any of this, but that's not the norm. They rake us over the coals. And on the flip side, I ask women all the time, and fellas, you ask your baby mamas, ask some of the women that fellas, say, if the shoe was on the other foot, would you be able to survive if this much money was coming out of your check before taxes? And see what
Right.
they say, because you never talk about this. It's rarely the woman that's ever paying child support.
Right.
So
And then
we as the bad parent.
the key thing that I tell guys a lot is I know we all come from the hood. I know we do. And I learned my lesson. My first son, when Daytwan was born, man, they were kicking my butt. I didn't even know what child support was because I'm a foster kid, so I didn't even know what they were doing. I had never worked. I played basketball when I got to college. But I would work every summer, and I would bust my tail to buy clothes. I would buy so much clothes for my son that her daughters would wear my kids' clothes because they wanted her older daughter would wear my kids' clothes because their dad wasn't doing anything. But I was okay with that because I was like, once they tore it up and got it dirty, I'm buying you something new. But I would tell the courts like, hey, I need y'all to understand, I'm not a dad be dad. But because she wants the child support, because she wants the food stamps, and because she doesn't want to work, and my oldest kid, because I have two baby moms, my oldest kid's parents, my oldest kid she stayed on child support till my oldest son went to college. And when they said, that's when they were like, well, you get no more, we just have back pay. Because when he was born, I wasn't working, I was literally in school. So now they've taking all this money. But that's when I started realizing, like, hey, we need to go challenge this. And the reason why everybody's saying, well, men can't do nothing, but men, it is. You can, if you don't have an attorney, there is a civic, every courthouse has a public assisting civil court attorneys that can go and plead on your behalf to help reduce. If you miss your child support day court case and you couldn't make it there, go there. Go there, tell them, hey, I need to reschedule this, please, because that's how they get. This is what the problem is. They get 100% of your money. If when you don't come to court, the judge don't even talk about it. Oh, he didn't bother to show up. We want 100%. So now that means if you make almost $2,000 every week, they taking 1,200 of it.
You lose by default.
Yes.
And like I said, fellas, it's and a lot of this is your guys' fault too, fellas, because like Jason said, a lot of men I know just sit and lay down. But you have rights. You have rights. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who makes the most money. It doesn't matter who has the best job. It just matters what's in the best interest for the child. And a lot of fathers, I will give you guys, you don't know how to fight for your child. You don't know how to fight. You guys don't know how to fight for your child, and there are ways to fight for your child. You
Hey,
know, it's,
and I'm gonna say something just off the record like this, bro. If you over your baby mama when you had that baby and y'all don't want to be together no more, quit sleeping with your baby mama. That's
oh
the first
yeah,
thing you got to cut off. Cut them emotions off because that's what's making us them run and do the stuff that they're doing because you want to be so much of the man that you're not realizing how you hurt yourself. Then y'all get into these argument over kids. What I love about my baby mamas, we haven't had an argument in ever because if I got it, they know I'm gonna do it. But when I was going through my hard time, they came and was like, "Hey, we're gonna tell them to stop child support." I didn't have to ask, I didn't have to do nothing, but I call my kids every day. Even when my kids were in Nebraska and I was in Dallas, I got two boys that don't really talk to me because they're mama's boys. I love them to life, but they love me. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. I know I wasn't always there. But one thing that I tell you, going back to the Bible, and I say this all the time. Men, stop acting like we supposed to be at every event that our child has. That's not our job. We are not to be at every game. We are not to be at every graduation because they just make up graduation so you can spend money. What the hell is a first grade graduation?
absolutely, absolutely. That's a lot of guilt. It's a lot of guilt stuff, man. Nobody can tell you how to do your fathering, man. You have to do that on your own.
But the reason why I say what I'm saying though is because you see how we're building what we're building now. That's what fathers are supposed to do. We're supposed to build to make our kids better and their kids better. If I'm sitting up at every graduation, if I'm sitting at home with you and your mom every day, if I'm doing that, I'm not doing what God put me here to build. When He talked about Adam, when Eve bit that apple, why did Eve get? Well, why did the devil even tempt Eve? Let me tell you why. Because Adam was in the field working.
He was taking care of his business, and Adam wasn't having it. Because if you went to Adam, he'd be like, "No, I'm not doing that. Are you crazy? God
Yeah,
told me not to do this." But I mean, time and time again, it's we get criticized for making the right choice, and then people not following suit. Everybody has their place and to play their own position, and to build on what you said, fellas, y'all need to stop sleeping with your children's mothers. I hate the
yeah.
word. You need to stop doing that, man. Like a lot of you guys had an attitude of, "Oh, that's mine. I can always go back." But when you do that, you're giving her hope. You're playing with these emotions, and a lot of y'all are popping out more babies, making it worse on yourself. You understand what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? Let
I
her go. Let her
second
go.
that. Hey, another thing that I was gonna say was something you just said that I wanted to touch on too. You guys gotta look at it from this point of view. We are made to be in our kids' life to make their lives better. One thing I can say about my four boys, I love them all. Even when I wasn't there, I was there enough to get them to understand how important school was. I was there to get them to understand, like, hey, because when my boys got older, we had a conversation, and I said, but let me tell you where your daddy came from. You guys had a hot meal. Y'all had a bed to sleep on every day. Y'all never had to worry about living on the streets. Your lights were never off. Nothing when you turn 16, you got a car. That is my job as a parent. My job is to make sure that you don't go through what I went through, that you didn't have to go hustle in the streets like I do, that you got and understood that life could be better because I sacrificed and I went through the hell, sleeping on park benches, sleeping on other people's couches, not getting what I needed to build something that you can now eat off of if I was to die tomorrow. That's our job.
Absolutely, man. And one thing that They did this at our men's group. You know, they had us raise our hand if you were a man, and there's no handbook on how to be a man, on how to be a father. Like I said, if you haven't prepared, your job is to prepare your kids to be able to survive in this world when you go, and not to be caught up in your emotions, constantly sleeping with baby mama and making these bad decisions. You know, you're supposed to be leading by example. So a lot of these things we bring on ourselves, like we're our own worst enemy. You
Uh,
made a post about that. We're our own worst enemy in a lot of these cases.
yeah, at all. Hey, and one of the things, and here's something I'm gonna say, and women ain't gonna like me for this. Eve only bit the apple because women are never truly satisfied. And I'll say this again and make sure it's very clear. Eve ate the apple because women, as a whole, and you could talk to any women, I'd have heard other women say this. Women are never truly satisfied. You know why we go on a bunch of vacations? Because women sit back all day and look at other places and say, I want to go there. You know why we shop, why Christmas is a big deal, why half of the brands that we buy on this planet today are valued the way they value it. It's not because of men, because I'm telling you, real men will look at a pair of Wranglers and be like, hey, do they look good? Can I crease them up? Can I put them with any shirt and put those holes on? But when you talk about women, I tell everybody, if it wasn't for Melissa, you wouldn't see me in half the suits I'm in. You wouldn't see me because you see me, I'm in
Yeah,
a sweatsuit every time you come to my house.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and you're telling the truth. It's like women are not satisfied because personally, I tell people, you know, my favorite day of the year is Thanksgiving because you can give thanks. But to me, and if being Christians, or you know, where this conversation started, I appreciate every day. Like I'm not thinking about tomorrow because I still got literally another 5 hours and 57 minutes left in this day. So
Absolutely.
so
Before I
people,
close my eyes.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, women get upset about you're not about birthdays and Christmas. I'm like, that's not a big deal. You know, wouldn't you rather be celebrated every day than just
Right.
one day? And really, they put, and I'm telling you guys, it's a lot of pressure to get put on you guys, especially the black men during Christmas. We are the only race that will go out for Christmas. I know people committing crime. You got I seen people that's going. I seen a father who's going to prison for the rest of his life over $300 worth of food stamps, which sells for 150 because he deleted somebody, a cousin behind that, all in the name of to buy gifts to satisfy this woman.
Yep.
People
But
are
I
committing going to prison every day.
yep. I'll take that a step
Like,
further for you. Hey, I'll take that a step further because we all know. So I tell everybody when I built Push, I started looking at the way big businesses run their companies, right? And I was like, everybody, do you have y'all noticed that in the last it used to be that if your light bill was due in December, they cutting it off. They don't care about the snow, especially because I lived up north. They don't care if you got snow outside or nothing. If your light bill was due and your heater bill and your gas bill was due, they cutting you off. No company disconnects anything in between November to January the 1st. You don't even get evicted from your house during those times. You know why? Because they need your money to fuel the economy for everything that wasn't sold. And I'm gonna give you a rundown of why I say that. Do you know that the Super Bowl is put in February for a reason? So that everybody can launch their ads during the Super Bowl, which start off the first quarter of the year for businesses. So every business is in the black, is in the red. But when they start, they're in the red from February all the way to October. Then what happens in October? You got Halloween,
Thanksgiving,
then Thanksgiving.
Christmas,
Thank you. Oh, September, back to school.
back to
They
school.
it's every month is something that is in. It used to be we would get a break between May and June, April, May, and June. You didn't really have to spend a lot of money because there wasn't nothing really going on. Give me 1 second, man. Hold on.
Yeah, fellas, stay up on your game, man. Keep your game tight.
Sorry guys, everybody's calling because they used to me not doing my show, but I'm on air. But no, and you think about it because a pastor said this. He said, while we all are getting trapped in the thought that we need to save money, they have created a holiday, and every day, every month now has something in it that you got to go out and spend money on. And they know as blacks, we're going to do it because we love to entertain. We love to throw parties. We are the number one people that they build clubs around. We are the number one people that they build new liquors around because they know that we want this because we have an egotistical mindset to say, I got this before you did. We're the main reason new cars come out every month. I promise you.
That we are. It says we're definitely programmed to feel like we have to spend that dollar, and we're the only ones who do it. We're the only ones who break ourselves for these holidays. Like I said, I got to make my kids Christmas, and I personally, guys, for whoever's watching this, I feel that if a kid gets nothing for Christmas, oh well, because if you're
Right.
taking care of your child like you should be, every day is Christmas.
Every day they're getting something.
Every day you getting something is Christmas. You shouldn't be out breaking yourself, because other races, and I'm not trying to make this a racial thing, but we're the only race that does that breaks
Yeah.
ourselves. And now our power is getting cut off in January, or we have to get a loan from somebody after Christmas. So, I don't go to status quo in any way, shape, or form with how I live my life. I am totally against the grain. I don't believe in those days. Valentine's Day. I laugh at people. Fellas, I laugh at you guys that go get 2 or 3 dozen roses. Go get her a white one. It means more. Know why you're doing what you're doing. Every day should be that day, not
Hey,
just the day they
I
pick.
I laugh because you'll go out on that one day and blow. And this is why I say men are really under attack, bro, and we don't even understand it. Because say a woman meets a man and she says, "I want to go out on a date." Let's do the math, the money on this part right now, and we're not even talking about a holiday. We just talking about a regular date. For the most part, on that man, every date they go. That's how I don't know how them dudes be having so many women, bro. Because you think about it, if you go, I remember when I used to be that dude though, when I was hustling and I had the money to throw away and I was going on, hey, I'm about to take you out to eat and I'm spending $600 here. And then the next day I'm going with another girl and I'm spending six there. Then I look up and I'm like, man, I got to give y'all a break because now I got to get back out here and hustle up all this money I done wasted. I tell dudes all the time, one of the best dates I ever went on, besides the one that I went on with my fiance now, one of the ones before her, I went on a date where I told the girl up front, "Hey, I got a lot of investments. All I have on me right now is $38. But I promise you I'm gonna show you a good time." And we did was take a walk in the park, feed the ducks, go to TJL Fridays and eat and had a couple of drinks, all for $38. And when
But
I go ahead.
oh no, go ahead, go ahead. There was something popped up on my screen.
But when I tell you that that was one of the best dates ever, she was so like, whoa, I had never done that. Because it's easy for me to take you to a comedy show where we don't have to talk. Because you know what normally results from that? And this is what most men don't understand. What results from that is we don't talk at the comedy show. We have a good time. We take a bunch of drinks. We come home. We smash. Now we go together. There was no conversation had. There was nothing in the middle. There's no real. So what happens in relationships, men, is as y'all start to get to know these people, you start to be like, I don't really like this person. But now you stuck and you caught because now y'all sleeping together. Only time you really can deal with her and you can put up with her if I say this to most men, bro. If your girl call you and every time you pick up your phone, you be like, ugh, and put that phone back down, you don't like your girl, bro.
Now you don't like her, Jay, and bro, and I tell people, on my channels, giving advice to men. If you meet me, I'm not taking you to a 5-star restaurant. It's not happening. And it has nothing to do with the money. It has nothing to do with the money.
At all.
Thing is, if I meet you, and fellas, I want y'all to listen, man, because a lot of y'all be on my line getting these consultations. Man, when you meet a woman, Why are you trying to impress her? I don't go out of my way. I personally don't plan a date. I'm gonna end up somewhere like feeding the ducks, eat some ice cream, sitting at the park. Why? Because it ain't about the money, because I can communicate with that person. I have their undivided attention. I can smell that person. I can sit next to them. It doesn't matter where we're eating. And if we're not vibing, we can always go home. We're not locked into this 2 3 hour dinner. And to add on to that, a lot of you men, y'all date with expectation. You have an expectation of getting in between that woman's legs at the end of the day. I don't do that. If
Hey,
that's what I want from a woman, I bypass all of that, and I'm very direct. And you'd be surprised, fellas, being direct will get you everything that you want.
absolutely. Hey, I
Being
found that out
absolutely
at the
direct,
age of
you want.
27. I found that out. Like, hey, I'm just gonna start saying what the hell I feel. Like, I don't want to. I think you're beautiful. I think you're gorgeous. Most likely, I just want to sleep with you because your personality sucks. And I tell people that I went on a bowling date with somebody, and by the time we walked out of there, like you said, the bowling date only cost me $24. Bet you got some nachos. I got some nachos. We got some drink. We did 2 rounds of bowling. We really wasn't vibing, so I dipped.
You weren't vibing, but so now you have these women, because I call them, because of the simp generation. You got these men who, the simps, I call them the late bloomers. They had to get a little bit of money, start getting a date. And so now you got these women who have 7 different dudes that take them to basically eat, to all the restaurants that they want to go to. It's transactional. Every day they got somebody every day of the week taking them to a different restaurant that they want to go to, and they are not even interested in that man the least bit. But if the man would didn't want so much and thought more of himself and wasn't trying to impress somebody, well, he wouldn't go be off spending this money, that he really can't afford. Because let's
Right.
face it, a man pays for more first dates than anything in the world. And they break themselves on these women. And they're hoping to get something instead of being direct. And in these day and age, hey guys, it's easy to keep your eggplant in your pants. Have a little bit of semen retention, like literally. It's not that serious.
Right. And you're right about that. I'm like, man, I was telling somebody the other day, I said, the reason why women feel entitled, I put a post up. I'm sure you
Mm.
saw it because most people who saw it, they hit me up about it. I put a post up that said, look, this how many simps are out here in the world right now that just love women and they don't know why they're doing this. A woman can get on right now, a nobody. Let her have a semi fine body, semi pretty face, put on some lingerie and jump on social media, and she's gonna be within the million followers.
Absolutely. I mean, and we're so desensitized because that same woman, see, you guys build a value up in these women, just so you know, because you get on there, Grand Rising Queen, and y'all get on this internet every day. You wake up, you start swiping through your phone. See, in my day, we had to talk. So you swipe through your phone, you text real good, but now you can't talk when you go to meet the woman. And so now you have raised that woman's value. And that's not even a woman. And I tell women this,
Right.
saying these men that are in your inbox telling you this, they wouldn't even be seen with you in public. You would not even be caught holding these women's hand in public, but it's Grand Rising Queen, because they have something to look at. So now, I mean, I hate to tell you, fellas, if y'all ain't realized it, sex is not the best thing you can get from a woman. It's conversation. You can't get
Exactly.
conversation. You can't pay for this stuff that we're giving right now. This
It's
this
what happens. It's what happens after sex, and I tell people that all the time. Half of y'all half men have sex with their women, and there's no conversation after. They roll over. She go do her day, you go do your day, and then you wonder why when marriage comes, when you decide, oh, I'm gonna marry this girl because I love her, you're all working off that sexual energy. So what happens when you get married? When men complain all the time about, oh, marriage kills sex. No, it don't. The responsibilities that come with marriage kill sex because now y'all both are out here grinding for something that y'all need to get done. So now sex has fallen to a forefront because now I got a family to take care of. She got kids to take care of. So now we're hitting and missing because by the time we're done, There's no conversation, so we just climbing in the bed next to each other, rolling over, turning our backs, and not talking. So then when we get 2 years in, 3 years in, you hate him because your work husband done gave you so much attention and so much conversation because that's what you were really craving. The sex isn't what you were craving. What you were craving was that person that wanted to hold you, that person that wanted to talk with you, that person you can be vulnerable with because that's built on us on the inside. Our spirit is looking for that connection. But we live in a world right now where everybody wants to fuck and then jump into a relationship and then realize, oh, I'm with the wrong person. That's why marriage, I just told you today when I told my wife, like at the my fiance at the end of the day, we're under so much of an attack. But I had to tell her, but you know why? Because the most covenant thing that God put in the Bible was marriage.
It's marriage.
if
Absolutely.
if the devil can destroy that and keep us from becoming one and worshiping God together and raising other kids who worship God, that is his goal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the fellas, man, you got to understand that you're under attack and don't fall for the bait. Like it's out there. Like I said, it's everything that a man, fellas, everything that you do negative is about a woman. People, you selling drugs to do what? Get clothes to get the woman. You rob banks to do what?
Right.
And then getting in your feelings with the woman has landed most of you in prison. Most people in prison for something that they did emotionally. Even
Absolutely.
selling, like I said, selling drugs, emotional. You're trying to get the woman. Stop putting that value on all these women and put that value on yourself. Put more value on yourself, and
Right.
she'll follow.
And that's the whole thing. I told when I went through what I went through, what I told you that 4 years I had to take time out to me and I had to sit back. Even though I had lost everything, I could have easily jumped on another girl who would have been willing to take care of me and help me get back on my feet. But that wasn't my goal because first you got to fix you. The number one thing on this planet that they've been pushing is sex. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care how you look at it. Sex is the number one thing. It's the reason why we are having all these pedophiles and all these high profile cases and all these little kids getting hurt and kids coming up missing and boys becoming girls because sex is the drive that they're using to touch our emotions, especially in young men, especially in young black men.
Yes. Absolutely. All over the television. It is normalized in every television show. And for y'all fellas out here listening, pay attention.
Mhm.
In every television show that you watch, they are normalizing the rainbow community, which I have no problem with. It's just not my thing. But they are normalizing this. So you have these young men who ain't had time to live and know even what they like, and they're confused with these same
Right.
gender bathrooms as little kids. They're confused.
And
Uh,
you know what's so funny about that, coach, is that they'll if you talk to somebody from that community, they'll be like, nobody's out here pressuring the kids. But let me give you an example of why I say what you just said. If I was your little brother and you were my older brother, and I was only 5 and you was 17, and I saw you, no, say you were 13, just say it like that. If you went out every day playing football and going to school and getting your grades and I'm your little brother, I'm going to look up to you. So I'm going to see you doing the right thing. So what is that going to cause me to do?
to do the same thing.
But if you go out here start selling drugs and I see you with cars, I see you with clothes, everybody in the hood loves you, you the man. Every time I look up, you pulling knots out your pocket. You think you could come and tell me to go to school?
No,
Right.
you want to do what you see.
So if you turn around and start putting on a dress and putting on makeup and wearing hair weave and wearing this and putting on nails, what do you think that's going to tell me?
Well, they're gonna get curious, Jay, and I literally know if, in a situation where this happened, like with my ex wife and her family. He's from the rainbow community. His stepbrother was curious and
Yeah.
started asking him questions about the community. Well, when he went to his mother and started asking her questions, they accused this man of touching his little brother, his little stepbrother, and he didn't. And the cold part is his father followed suit, and they filed charges against this man. And to
Yep.
this day, he's on the sex offender registry, and even in the he never, because they was like, well, you had to have done something to him. Why is he asking these questions? Because he was just trying to he was curious about what he saw at a young age.
Yep. Hey, keep that note. Let's take this break, y'all. We're gonna give y'all a little bit of a break. We'll be right back. Let the DJ kick it on in for us. Man, it's been some great conversation, man. Like you said, we need to
Vibing, I'm late, no rent. What was I thinking? I'm gonna go to the gym, squat real low for a man. Young, you be real boss, I can't shake it off. Requit it, admit it, you would never mind at all. Never mind, never mind, never mind at all. No way, never mind at all. I've been eating whipped cream, having vivid dreams of you facing through people on TV screens. You've been everywhere. And I wish I didn't care. Oh, you've been everywhere. Ooh, I wish I didn't care.
Lost in my brain, when nothing sounds the same. Help me find a way to get out of my brain before I start to break. Looking for a change, yeah. Might need to stop roaming the streets. Might need a little moment for me. I'm down for whatever. Suggestions, I'm under the weather. I need my umbrella. Might need a little shorty on me. Might need to refocus my dream. I'm down for whatever. Suggestions, I'm under the weather. I need my umbrella. I need my umbrella. Nothing sounds the same no more. Nothing feels the same no more. Oh, I can feel the rain, it pours, even though I stay indoors. Oh, I don't wanna hang no more, can't explain it. I done been through it all. My back right against the wall, tryna make sure I don't fall, please. I ain't been around, don't fall me. Fighting off insecurities is harder than I thought. Ay, and I really hope it don't cost me. If you by my side, don't cross me. 'Cause even though it hurts, I done been through worse. I just need time for me. I need time. I need time.
Yeah, I know your eyes in the morning sun. I feel you touch me in the pouring rain. And the moment that you wandered from me, I wanna feel you in my arms again. And you come to me on a summer breeze, keep me warm in your love, then you softly me, and it's me. So, how deep is your love? It's your love. I really mean to love, 'cause we're living in a fool world, yeah, breaking us down, yeah, when they all should let us be. We belong to you and me.
I believe in you.
Yeah.
You know the door to my very soul. You're the light in my deepest, darkest hour. You're my savior when I fall, and you may not think that I care for you when you know deep down inside I really do. You need to show how deep is your love. It's your
said, how deep is your love? How deep is your love? I really need them to know. 'Cause we are fools breaking us down.
You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. You be like heaven to touch. I wanna hold you so much. At long last, love has arrived, and I thank God I'm alive. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. Caught in the way that I stare. There's nothing else to compare. The sight of you leaves me weak. There are no words.
What's up? We are back. We are back. We are back. Man, I'm just saying, bro, this has been some great conversations. We done touched on everything from church to to but I want to get more into our men and their mental health, man. And the reason why that's so important to me is because I don't think enough of us look at men's mental health. And I'm saying that because of today. I had to literally take a day to recoup because men, we carry a lot on our shoulders. And women, I don't think you understand that. I think you look at us like we're supposed to be the provider. We're supposed to be the money maker. We're supposed to be this. We're the show. If you're a good man, you're the shoulder that more people lean on. You're the person that the family calls that say, "Hey, I need." You're the person that if you have daughters, I had all boys, so that was kind of easy for me. Now that I got daughters that we've adopted, I'm like now I'm that person they're looking up to. So now I gotta walk in a certain light. It's so much luggage on a man's back. And all we do every day is get up and say, okay, I gotta fight today too. So
Absolutely.
so what happens with most men is they lose hope because if I gotta come from this world, and I'm just saying this not to be a cliche, but they're truthful when they say this. If I gotta go out this door, get on these calls, talk with these people who already don't have no respect for me, already beat me down, already looking at me like I'm lowered and low. And then I come home and you mad because I didn't get home 5 minutes because you wanted me to. I didn't go. I forgot to take something out of the refrigerator. We fighting over bills. We fighting over this. When you find the perfect relationship, it's supposed to be peace. But that only comes, guys, if you communicate, if you talk. I love. Did I ever tell you? Me and Melissa told you about how our first date was the best date ever, bro. All we did was meet up we met up at the Orleans. We sat in the common area. We watched football. We talked, then finally went and ate at nasty TGIF Friday. And then after that, she went to church and I went home. The next day, she barbecued. I came over, met her family, chilled, hung out. It was that simple. And we stayed up all night like when I was a teenager, just talking over everything. But
Just
you can't find that type of relationship until you get to that level.
Yeah, I mean, well, then somebody got to be able to accept it. You got different age ranges, especially with the younger generation. I feel bad for the younger generation because they have these cell phones because everything is on the internet. You know, uh,
Yes.
fellas, we had books. I read encyclopedias for fun as a kid. You have to have lived a little bit and have some type of life experience to carry on conversation. So, as I stated earlier, I mentor young men, and they call me for consultations, and most of them are asking me, "How do you talk to a woman?" Well, there is no way you talk to a woman the same way you talk to a man. There's no difference, but these men are trying to get something from somebody. Just be yourself, and so the conversation is lost. So if you don't have any conversation to begin with, you can't give your partner any conversation if you're not even a well-rounded individual. And it's about how far as your conversation can go. everybody is not capable of having a deep conversation. And though
And yep, and like you said, it's about who can receive it too, because most of us have been so damaged that we can't see what's right in front of our eyes. We rather go run. Somebody made it very clear. It was a talk show, and he said most people will kick that good man, most women especially, will kick that good man to the side. That man that caters to you, come bring you dinner at lunch at work every day, flowers at work every day, everything like that. Y'all will throw them in the mud. But let that bad boy come and floss money on you and throw. So I tell women some things that happen, and I'm not saying no man should ever hit a woman, but sometimes you gotta man up. You got to take responsibility of the situation you put you in. If you met this man and his ex-girlfriend is telling you that he whooped her ass, what makes you, I don't care what his mouth say, I don't care what his little pecker does, I don't care if he comes to you a million times and says he changed. If you meet his ex and she tell you he did it to the person before her and the person before her, that's in his nature, and he's going to do it to you. Then when it happens, you want to be like, "Oh no, why?" Like he told you.
and things be, things be right in front of people, man. And sometimes, man, it rains so much in people's life they don't know when the sun is shining. Or
Absolutely.
or they doubt things, or you know um you have some women that feel like that unless you are putting your hands on them, unless you are arguing with them, that you're not showing them any type of love. you know
Absolutely.
you have that, and I mean, it's just, it all boils down to communication. Some people can't take that constructive criticism because they think that you're picking on them. So
But
I'll
I
tell
want to
them,
reverse it too. Some men have been hurt so bad by women, including their moms, that they can't see a good woman if she slapped them in the face. So
absolutely.
let's be real.
It works both ways. And like as we keep saying, we are our own worst enemy.
Yeah.
We are our own worst enemy. We pray for things, but then because it doesn't come the way that we thought it would come, we don't receive it. So that could be a woman saying, well, hey, I want a man that's 6'6". Okay. Well, this man, well, I'm 5'8". Or a man saying that he wants this woman with this perfect body. Well, how does your body look? And I'm of the belief of, if you cannot reciprocate what you want in a woman or male, then you shouldn't. To me, it's not fair to ask for it. How do
My
you want somebody with perfect credit if you don't have it?
Hey, my thing is this though. Let me remember we talked about this earlier, right? And I told you, and what I said to you was, we will. So imagine three doors. Imagine when you pray to God, he puts three doors in front of you, right? In front of those three doors. So I know everybody that did this at some point in their life where you thought you shut your door all the way, but it was kind of cracked, but only you noticed it because unless they came up to the door and pushed on it, you couldn't tell it was open. So
Right.
one of the doors is completely shut and one of the doors is wide open. We have a tendency to say, God, I want this Mercedes, but God doesn't work like that. He knows what you need and he knows what you have to make you completely happy. But a lot of us won't follow that. So when you say, I want this Mercedes, then what the devil would do is say, well, God just cracked that door a little bit. The devil gonna swing that door wide open, and your dumb ass gonna assume that it's God. So you gonna run, take all the money you have, and buy that Mercedes. But the devil didn't say I'm gonna help you keep it. He just said you wanted it. So now you got to figure the other part out. Then you will end up losing the Mercedes by less than 2 months, and next thing you know, you're mad and you're upset because now you don't put all this money into it. The Mercedes gone. You damn near homeless because you couldn't keep up with the parts on the Mercedes and the gas on the. But what God will do in that little cracked door, if you listen to Him, you'll say, "I want a Mercedes." If you push that cracked door open, God will say, "First, let me get you the job." So you're gonna go to work every day. You may be catching the bus, you're gonna do whatever, but he's like, but I need you to get into these habits. God is a planning God. He's a God that does everything planned out. So first step first, I gotta get you to the job. As I get you to the job, you stay there for a year, right? As you stay there for a year, Now a promotion came up. So now you done went from $15 an hour to now you making $25 an hour. Bet. Now you can go out and get this Toyota so you can get off the bus. As you get that, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead. I'm agreeing. I'm just
As you get that Toyota, then you turn around and God say, now you going to work every day. Now you a manager, so you got this $25 an hour. Now you paying for this Toyota. It breaks down. You learning how to save the money up to get it fixed, pay the insurance. You're learning these lessons. Hear what I'm saying. You're learning these lessons that you need to learn in order to maintain what you want, not just get it, but keep it. So now you in this Toyota, you driving, another year goes by, and now you done became a supervisor, a regional supervisor. Now you making 75K a year, and he says, "Oh, but you still living in your mama house. So I can't get you this Mercedes yet. I need to put on your mind that you need to at least go get your own townhome or apartment." So now you go get the townhome, you got the car, you got the job. Now you working, you working, you working. So what happens in those situations is now that Mercedes does not look like the best thing in your life
mm,
because now you've established what you need to establish. So now that little Toyota, you like shit. I love my Toyota at this point. But then on that next time when you say, "Dang, I really like that Mercedes though," he's like, "Well, go get it." Why? Because I've created the job for you. Now you can keep up with the maintenance. Now you can go get the Mercedes because now you done got another promotion and you making 100 over 6 figures, and now you can afford to keep the Toyota because this damn near paid off by now, and go get your other car, and now you can afford both of those, so you'll never have to go backwards again. When the devil does something for you, keep in mind you keep running in the same circle and you can't figure it out because you're not listening to God. You're just saying, "This is what I want." And I'm saying that because of what you said. A woman will come and be like, "I want a girl, a guy that's 6'6", and I need him to make 6 figures, and I need him to do this." But they don't understand that that guy got there because some woman had him when he wasn't making 6 figures.
oh yes, that's deep. See, they forgot about that version. They think that
Some women
he was just born like that.
Right. Some woman was with that basketball player when he was little Johnny at the basketball court learning how to dribble, and they were still loving on him. He did them wrong. So then he moved up. And every time he moved up, he took his eyes off the prize that stayed with him. You know why they talk so bad about LeBron and they always trying to find a loophole in there? Because that girl was with his ass when he was in the projects.
Absolutely, one of the few who kept his day one.
Yes. She was in the projects leaning on his mama dirty couch with his ass. It's like, stop playing the game. You want to get to that level, then learn how to be loyal. We lost all of that. There is no more building anymore. We want that man to come ready made. We want that woman to come ready made. But then look at all the ones that want that and how single they are compared to their girlfriends who are ready, who are not that cute, not as beautiful, not really spending a lot of money on the shit you got, because it's not the ones that you see out in the front in the spotlight that got everything going on. Y'all better start paying attention to the ones that trail behind them and they just happy to like, "Hey, I'm just your friend." But in the background, they're a millionaire themselves. I know a bunch of millionaires. It's a book and I need y'all to go get it. It's called A Millionaire on Your Block. Because when you said your dad from the country, go to some of these country ass towns and see how many millionaires still drive Ford pickups and still
Absolutely,
live in the same house. They don't live in a mansion. They ain't buying they make more money than half these people that live in a big city.
absolutely. No, absolutely. And I tell you, fellas, man, like who like you, women, fellas, ladies, like who likes you. Because what's up, Woody Wood? Shout out, come to you from Las Vegas, man. Like who like you. The person that likes you, when we're trying to, like you said, like Jason gave the analogy of the Mercedes, like who like you, because the person who likes you is going to be peaceful. They're not going to give you all these problems. Now the person that like you, she may not have a breast implants, a BBL, and a six pack. That's okay. because that's gonna go away. But the person that likes you, man, y'all gonna vibe. You know, you guys are gonna create things. You're gonna build together. But so many times, man, we are chasing after the person that's running away from us and running away from the person that's chasing us, which is backwards.
Absolutely. And hey, and that's the truth, y'all. And if you don't understand that, hey, I tell everybody just like what we talk about. Marry, find that person that you don't mind getting up and washing the dishes for. Find that person that you don't mind going out and filling up their car with gas for, and no matter what time they wake you up to do it. Find that person that if you sleep on the couch, that's gonna go get that blanket and cover you up, rather than walk past you and be like, "That nigga sleep on the couch, huh? Whatever. I'm going to go get in the bed." Find that person that's gonna be like when they cook them something to eat, they automatically then you don't even have to ask. You can go right in there and your plate sitting in the microwave. Stop playing. That's where we're at. That's where guys and women are in this day. We're in a situation where we play relationships and then we think a ring, just because you give them a ring and marry them, we got it in our head that that's going to change who they are.
Mm.
Just because you get married, if he was cheating on you when you were single, he gonna cheat on you when you married. If you a man and she was a liar and a crook, I learned this the hard way, and I'm so glad COVID hit, man. I can't even tell you how much I thank God, because all I lost was material shit. I could have lost it all. And my uncle brought this to my attention. He said, thank God that you didn't get married and COVID stopped y'all marriage at that time, because we were supposed to be married in April of 2020. He said, thank God for that. I said, why? He said, because think about it. You just lost a little bit of material stuff that you can easily build back, because I seen you bounce back your whole life. But just think about if I was married, E.
It would have been over with.
Exactly.
It would
It
have
would
been
have
over.
been half of everything, half of everything. Give me this and give me that. And I couldn't have done nothing about it.
Oh yeah, I mean, the guys, it's set up. The system is set up for you to lose anyway. It's not
Yeah.
set up for you to win. And like I said, it's this whole status quo thing. You know, you should feel as much of a. You should feel more of a man. You should feel that much of a man that a woman should be taking you out on the first date. You should feel that you should and you should be verbal about it. I'm not saying beg, but you should feel like that. You shouldn't feel like you should be the only one bending over paying all these bills. It's not a 50-50. It's 150%, 150%. You know, and if you and that's the person you need to find. But a
Right.
lot of people are settling, men and women. You're settling. People get comfortable, and it's really not what you like, because then you go out creeping, which that's a whole nother video for another day.
Right. But let me explain something though. That 80-20, the bull crap that they keep talking, like find that 80 and that 20. I'm like, listen to this. This is true. Talk to anybody who's a billionaire, because I talk to a lot of them are millionaires. Talk to them. They'll be like, my wife was there. She was the main breadwinner, and while I was building this business, I had to go to her to get cash. And you talk to most men who are building something, they were broke in the beginning. I'll tell you right now, me coming back on what I'm on, my lovely fiance is the one that get up every day. And you know this, she worked 12, 14 hours. So guess who sit at home? I make good money, but she does her thing. I'm at home with the kids. I got the girls all day. You sat over here. I got the girls all day. I'm in school with them. I'm doing my work. I'm talking to them. I'm cooking. I'm this and that. But that is the level that you want to be on, to have that balance. Because by the time she comes home, she's like, babe, I'm just happy to see you. I thank you. I'm grateful that you here to take care of the kids, because my wife loves to work. She told you herself, if I can't make her stop if I wanted to.
Exactly, exactly. You know, but see, a lot of men need to hear that from coming out of a man's mouth, just a different perspective instead
Yeah.
of just the status quo, man. It's don't be afraid to step outside of the box, fellas. Like, don't be afraid to step outside of the box, out of your comfort zone. You know, don't be afraid to, seek love in another state. You
Right.
know, go wherever God called you to go. I made that up in my mind 7, 8 years ago that if I had to go to Africa, because that's where God called me to be, that's where I will go, being obedient. And you'll find
Absolutely.
exactly what you're supposed to have, man, and some of the things that you want. But
Hey,
don't stop selling, fellas.
stop listening to those people that are established trying to tell you how they got there. Because one thing I realize and one thing I tell everybody, those people that got money is just like Eric Thomas and the Grant Cardone. They gonna get you to spend the money to come out to see them, but they ain't gonna never tell you the secret that you really need to know because nobody wants to be. T.D. Jakes didn't tell his story about how him and his wife, because I known that church even when it was small, when it wasn't on the big church on the hill. They didn't have the school. They didn't have other churches around the country. They just had that one little raggedy ass church in Dallas, and they was living in his raggedy ass house as he was coming up. And a lot of pastors have that story. A lot of pastors, like my wife, out here in Vegas, Central Church. I know that the pastor, me and Mr. Bush, we're really, really good, but I
You
love him.
muffled, Jay. You
Oh,
muffled.
I was saying, Mr. Can you hear me now?
There you go.
Okay, it's because it keeps moving around. But
You good.
I love it because Mr. Bush he talks about his alcoholism. He talks about what he went through, how his wife sacrificed and she went to work every day while he was trying to build this ministry, and he was out talking and doing with people. So don't get it twisted. Behind every successful billionaire, there was a woman that helped him build. Why do you think all these women are rich now? Because that billionaire built and then he said, "Oh, I see something greener on this side." And he get a divorce. Michael Jordan is the number one primary. You want to talk about somebody? What his ex-wife did was fabulous. Juanita built a powerhouse off his you go hoop. You want to cheat? I'm staying.
I'm gonna stay. Well, do what you want to do. What she left with about 400 or 500 million?
It was more than that. I think it was like $680 million. He had to pay her out. And I talk, but look though, I was telling Melissa, a girl I dated some 11, 13 years ago, right? Her auntie was the first one that taught me this lesson. She used to always tell me about her auntie and her uncle, and when I finally met her, her auntie kind of told the whole story. Her auntie said, "Well, every day I would have this person and her and her sister, and we would go to these little stores, but it's stores that she knew her husband was at with other women. So she would turn around and have the girls go play under the coat racks just so she can gather data. So one day, my ex asked her, like, when he died, he left her over $3.5 million.
Mm.
And she asked, she said, "Why did you always let him cheat? Why did you put up?" Because at his funeral, it was, Medea's movie where all the hoes, the homecoming, and all the hoes that he was cheating on was at the funeral. That's how it was. All the girls were there, and they had on like the minks he bought them and the clothes, and she was just sat up front, didn't say nothing, shook her head, was like, "My baby, I miss him, and it's gonna be lonely." Swear to God, bro. But then turned around when we got home and was like, "Listen, you seen all those people in that church? If I would have gave up, why would I put myself? We had been married. They had been married for like 40 years." She said, "Why would I had put myself in a position to make my family's life better?" Just to throw it away because he couldn't keep his dick in his pants to let somebody else come in and get what I built. If y'all
Smart.
missed that, she was like, "Why let somebody else come in to reap the benefits of something that I already did the suffering for?"
I already did the suffering for her. That it's a smart move.
That's why. That's why the movie Anacrombie with Taji P Henson. That's why it was so dramatic because she the reason why she flipped out was because everything that girl was living was her life. If she would have just shut up, stop listening to her sister, and let that man work. That's
That's
most of the time God tells you. Back God says, and we talk about this at church a lot, bro, and you know this. God told women to be a helpmate. He didn't tell you how to help. He said, be there. In Proverbs 31, A lot of people don't read Proverbs 30. All God tell men to do when it comes to your wife is love her in whatever way that pretells. Then he turns around and gives the women a list. They got a whole list of how to be a great wife and support your husband. So when I hear women say, I want to be a Proverbs 31 woman, but you still at the clubs half naked, you wrong.
Definitely wrong.
If your man trying to build a business and you cussing him out every day because you mad because he's not out going to go get a McDonald's job, but yet he over here, I tell everybody, I could go to work at McDonald's, make $80 that day, or I could sit behind his computer, talk to a couple of clients, get two of them to sign up and make 2 grand that day. Why wouldn't you support that? It may not come in the way we were programmed for it to come in, but if I do 2,000 every week, I beat any salary that anybody could offer me right now.
These are facts. People have to be open to that. And
Eh,
say, it's the day of the independent black woman, or the day of the independent woman, because back in those old days, that old love, people didn't get separated.
Right,
Like I said, me personally, my great grandfather had two sets of children, 16 in all. And the women, the swear to God, and the women lived literally like maybe a block apart, and they were friends. They used to
right.
go do their laundry. So if all the kids were at one house, he would go say, "Hey, go kill 5 chickens and feed the kids." And this is facts. I had
I
16
believe
great
you.
aunts and uncles, and that was the old stuff. So
I believe you.
I literally read this book about, it was called like what every man needs to know about the black woman. It was written by a Muslim. And this is what this woman said. She said that a lot of these relationships now are going sour because the women feel so independent. Now she don't have to listen to a man, or she don't feel like she has to depend on a man. But now you got a lot of independent women that are lonely as hell. Like they lonely as hell.
Hey, one of the saddest things you could do is die alone. That's the last thing I have to say about this, because that's what you start to look at as you start to get older. That's why now they got all these old folks dating apps, because the old folks are starting to realize, like, dang, I played the game. I didn't stay settled down. I wanted to do this so bad on my own. And you know, you got kids. Your kids are born to leave. Your kids are, let me say this again, your kids grow up and leave you. Most kids don't even live in the same city as their parents in this day and age.
That's all I got to say about it.
But man, go ahead and give you a shout out because we coming up on a close of the show. Tell them where they can find you, man. And man, I'm telling you, I thought this was a great show. I love good conversation like this, man.
Oh, definitely, man. Appreciate you guys watching, man. At Coach One Stack, you can find that right there on YouTube. Or if you want to look at my Facebook, hey, ERIC Washington, Eric Washington. That is my government name. But you can just catch me on YouTube, man. Ain't no secrets. We have real conversation. We keep it 1,000. We all about motivating and just trying to grow as people and trying to build these men up and just have a better life, man, and move in Christ. Y'all have a blessed day.
All right, y'all. And I thank y'all for tuning in. I know it's been a long time. I shout out to everybody who tuned out. Shout out to my nostalgic family. Shout out to everybody who tuned in. Um, man, I'm just saying, at the end of the day, it is worth it. It's worth it for you to invest in somebody that's going to help you grow while you feed into them as well. Because if they help you grow and you really love that person, whether it's male or female, when you help them, when they help you grow, you grow. They grow as well, because then your prosperity will help them build what they want as well. And you got to understand that. You got to put that in your mind and move forward. So y'all, I want to say have a great week. This is Real Talk with Jayson Dixon. Tune in every Monday. We're going to have, won't always be my show because sometimes I'm so busy I can't get it on. But at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, we got Real Talk with Lisa Renee. Tomorrow night, y'all know I got shout out to my brother, Mr. 21 Joe, Top Dollar, Real Talk Dallas After Dark. Then you got on Wednesday night, I got Christina with a K, Wisdom and T. So I'm so ready for her to come back. I miss my girl. Then on top of that, we got that same Wednesday night. Shout out to the Big Fella Show. Then to come up on that, y'all, let me tell y'all, on Thursdays, I got Street Made Radio with my man, CEO man, my CEO of my Nostalgic Radio. Then on Thursday, also, I got my girl, Miss T Pretty Smile. She got Real Raw Let's Talk. And then on top of that, Fridays, I got a new show coming. I can't tell y'all that show yet. I got another show coming on Sunday, another show coming on Tuesday. I got Saturday, though, I got the Woody Wood Show. Shout out to my cousin. He's hurt right now, so he'll be back in a couple of weeks. Then after that, on Saturday as well, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, I got just another conversation with my man, Godson Ferrero. Um, and then on Sundays, right now, even though I got new shows coming, I got the Good Vibe Show with Princess Hicks and I Live Fit team. So y'all know we're growing. Shout out to the BT team. Just got another announcement of somebody special that need a show, and hopefully I can land that deal. But we won't talk about that. Look out for everything we're about ready to do. You can jump over to the radio station if you just want to vibe out with the music and not really get the talk show. That's nostalgicradio.online. You can go check us out. When I tell y'all we growing fast, if you need a show, inbox me. You know my name, Real Talk Jayson Dixon on Facebook. It's just Jayson Dixon. Then you got Nostalgic Radio on Facebook, and any one of our shows will lead you right back to me. Or you can just go to the website, scroll down the homepage, says sign up for a show. You submit that request, and I'll give you a call. We can work it out. All right, guys, have a good night. Let's go.
LOSbeats.com.
Suppress my feelings, I'd rather y'all kill me so I can shout to the heavens till one of them angels hit me. When you standing on the top, all you can do is look down, but I'm on the ground looking up, so all I can do now is push. Yeah, I gotta hustle, I gotta grind, I gotta struggle through the labyrinth of life, and every turn is a new puzzle. So I'm looking to these heavens, yeah, they help me, but they offer no rebuttal. So I push, I gotta hustle, I gotta grind, I gotta struggle through this labyrinth of life, and every turn is a new puzzle. So I'm looking to these heavens, yeah, they help me, but they offer no rebuttal. So I say, air dude wanna make moves. Hot-headed niggas wearing ice just to keep cool. The niggas that can't fight keep tools. You gotta keep one too, for the fact anybody could try you. I said that anything can happen, could be gone in a minute. So from dusk till dawn, put on until I'm finished. I'm striding through life like a nigga long-winded, never sprinting, searching for that meal ticket. I ain't trying to miss it, cause life's real, and it always gave me chills. But as you get older, it gets colder. I got this knife in my back with the devil on my shoulder. I'm waiting for my angel to guide me right on the other, but he never showed up, and I'm tired of looking over and my chest blown out. The cold got my heart iced over. Emotions keep you from progress. I'm focused on getting closer. I'm that kid wondering where they say he not supposed to, so I push. Yeah, I gotta hustle, I gotta grind, I gotta struggle through the labyrinth of life, and every turn is a new puzzle. So I'm looking to these heavens, yeah, they help me, but they offer no rebuttal. So I push, I gotta hustle, I gotta grind, I gotta struggle through this labyrinth of life, and every turn is a new puzzle. So I'm looking to these heavens, yeah, they help me, but they offer no rebuttal. So I feel hoping music could be his four-leaf clover. Body high, but his spirit so sober, cause he realized inside he couldn't be any lower. Just trying to wake my soul up like foe. Just put me on the front line, trained to die. See, they play me for a pawn, not a soldier. I don't live life for direction, survive to stay alive, never to take orders. Live life miserably and smile like everything's alright. Man, no the fuck it isn't. I was reborn, reformed in my chrysalis, so y'all gon' fucking listen. I will never be nobody's bitch. I'm committed to rolling solo, putting my trust in no one. No love, definitely no road dog. I'm taking roll calls, saying fuck all y'all. Point blank, no need to repeat. Obviously I'ma do me, the rest of the world can control or delete as I push. Yeah, I gotta hustle, I gotta grind, I gotta struggle through the labyrinth of life, and every turn is a new puzzle. So I'm looking to these heavens, yeah, they help me, but they offer no rebuttal. So I push, I gotta hustle, I gotta grind, I gotta struggle through this labyrinth of life, and every turn is a new puzzle. So I'm looking to these heavens, yeah, they help me, but they offer no rebuttal. World on my shoulders keep me down, but these drugs keep me up. Cold war freezing my soul, fire in my belly heat me up. The lean slow me down, my dry speed me up. Low life in disguise, all I can do is look up. This dream of eating got me hungry, envious of those above me. Life ugly than a bitch, and she always trying to fuck me. No stuffy running belly, rumbling, feel it in my tummy. World got me sick, the cold coming. I wish I was cold-blooded, so I could just say fuck it and fuck everybody but me. I'm tired of being unlucky, this world will play you for puppet. Manipulate your movements, you trying to influence the public. They trying to keep me close like luggage since the city was plumaged. Then they find that gold nugget among the rubbish. I swear when them dollars coming and I ain't gonna have no budget. All of my people getting something. Cause I wasn't pushing for nothing, so let's go, I push. Yeah, I gotta hustle, I gotta grind, I gotta struggle through the labyrinth of life, and every turn is a new puzzle. So I'm looking to these heavens, yeah, they help me, but they offer no rebuttal. So I push, I gotta hustle, I gotta grind, I gotta struggle through this labyrinth of life, and every turn is a new puzzle. So I'm looking to these heavens, yeah, they help me, but they offer no rebuttal. So I